I must greet you first. You still remember that? Thank you. Now, you're saying the 5-minute estimation that you made was an estimation from the time at which the two intruders got into the house up until the point at which you went out of the door, not so?
The 5 minutes okhuluma ngayo ke uthi ubuqagela nje ukuthi kusukela ngesikhathi laba bawu2 bengena kwaze kwayisikhathi la wena ke usuphuma endlini.
Yeah, until less than 5 minutes.
Yes, I said less than 5 minutes.
And at that point, actually before you went out of the house, it was at a time at which you met Senzo, who was going the direction that was an opposite one to the one at which you were going. In other words, he was going into the greater portion of the house when you were walking out of the house.
Ila uhlangana khona no Senzo yena esengenela ngaphakathi ke endlini wena uphumela ngaphandle.
Yebo.
Yes.
Will I then be correct to say that at that point in time, the tussle or the squeamishness that you testified so deeply about it was no longer there?
Leso scaffold leso ke bese singasekho ke manje ngathi kwenzeka lokho.
Yebo.
Yes.
And you don't know whether after you had left the house they regrouped and the squeamishness started again?
Awazi ke noma umusuphumile ke wena endlini baphinde bahlangana futhi kwaphinda ke kwanescaffold futhi awukwazi ngoba ubuphumile endlini ngithi.
Cha ngikwazi ukuba ngisengaphandle.
No, I don't know because I was outside.
Thank you, sir. You went to the Ngashes. We are told that the family that you went into is the Ngashes, and that's not in dispute. Excuse me?
Ngache.
Yes, the Ngashes.
Ngache. NGC. Ngache.
I was able to pronounce that. So, I understand. I hear what you are saying.
I hear what you're saying.
Thank you, sir. You went into the yard and then you came back.
Yes.
Yebo kunjalo.
Now, when you came back, am I right to have understood you that when you came back, you found Senzo at a particular point in the house?
Umusubuya ke ila uthi khona ke kunendawo thizeni endlini ke manje la owamthola uSenzo leli khona.
Yebo.
Yes.
And as you were busy trying to find out what is happening with him, you heard some bang from one of the doors. You went to the door and then it was Mr. Madlala. You assisted him to get out of that room and then you went back to Senzo.
Wezwa ke ukuthi kunomsindo khona kwesitaphe esithize waya ke wathola ukuthi uTumelo wamsiza ke nabuyela kuSenzo.
Yebo.
Yes.
Now, in relation to the house, and I'm going to request that probably the dining room situation of the house as a whole, or the sketch plan of the house be flighted. Now, excuse me, sir. Sketch plan. Let's go to the sketch plan. Now, there is something that I'm going to request you to clarify this court on in relation to the aspect that I've asked you about. Now, I assume that when you came back from the Ngashes, you used the very same door that you used to go out of the door, which is the main kitchen door, not so?
Ngicabanga ukuthi uma usubuyeke ubuya kwaNgache usebenzise sona ke stapa lesi owuphume ngaso ukuthi uphinde ubuyele phakathi endlini.
Yebo, ngisebenzisa sona.
That's correct. I use the same door.
Then you are into the house exactly when you came back. Who was the first person that you saw when you get into the house?
Umusubuya ke umuntu oqala owahlangana naye ke umusubuya manje ubuya kwaNgache ubani umuntu oqala owahlangana naye lapha endlini?
Umakheli.
Kelly's mother.
Where did you meet her?
Kuphi nendawo?
Ngaphandle ngasemnyango lo kitchen.
Outside close to the kitchen door.
Okay, thanks. She's outside the house. Let's get into the house. Who's then the person that you're meeting in the house?
Loyo ke uhlangana naye ngaphandle. Ngaphakathi ke endlini ubani umuntu oqala owahlangana naye?
Angisakhumbuli kodwa ngikhumbulayo ukuthi ngabona usenzo ngoba ngiyasho ukuthi ngangena ekitchen ngadlula ngathi mangijikela ngase ngaka left shoot mangibuka ngaka right sorry mangibuka isithombe kanje ilanga hlangana khona nosenzo ke phansi.
I can't remember, but I know that I met Senzo. I went through the kitchen and then I turned right, and then as I turned right, when I looked on my right hand side, that's where I saw Senzo lying down.
Thank you, sir. Now, exactly when you turned to your right, where did you see him? Or where was he?
Ukuthi le dining room ke la angazi ngoba we sketch a plan from ayikho lokhu kuseduze la.
Ukuphi?
Ama couch lawo. Akukho isikhala esikanje.
Okay. Asondelene wona.
I couch nodonga lisondelene so ukuthi la libukeka ngathi kunodonga liswele kusithile angazi umyayiswa lento engisho.
When you look on the picture itself, the couches or the couch and the wall are close to each other, but now based on the sketch it is drawn differently. It looks like there's a huge gap.
Wow, okay, now let's simplify it. I'm going to request our colleague to beam us the sitting room situation. I think you're right, that color was also blindfolding me. Let's get to the sitting room. I don't know what photos are these, but yeah. Let's see the other one. The other one.
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
This one. Yes. I think that is photo number 56. Yeah. 57, yes. Down photo number 57. You turn from the kitchen arc and you're looking right into the sitting room where you were initially seated. Then where do you see Senzo?
Position. Please pick the picture up because that's it. La. Sukela la ubuza ngala.
Here,
Yeah.
from there,
So inyawo ngala ubuza umuntu emuteza ngala.
Yes.
it's the feet that is now on the mat itself, and then the whole body coming towards this side. That is now the bottom part of the picture.
Yes. And then you said immediately you went to him, and then you had this other body from one of the sleeping rooms. You went there to assess him, but then you went back to Senzo, who was still sleeping there.
Ubuya butumela waphindela khona ke kusenzo owayesaleli khona lapho.
Yebo iphansi.
Yes, he was on the floor.
That is at a point where you then lifted his white shirt and realized that he has got a wound on his sternum.
Wase uphakamisa ke iskipa ila ubona khona ke ukuthi unenxeba.
Yebo kunemasakhomba ukuthi ngaliphakamisa kuqala before ngokutumela noma but ngaliphakamisa ngabona inxeba lala likhona.
Yes, what I just can't remember well is whether I did that before I went to Tumela or after I came back from Tumela, but I remember seeing the wound, yes.
Yes. Now, I assume, or will I be correct to assume that when you came back, you were now in the company of Tumelo?
Ubuya ke manje uhamba noTumelo.
Bese ubuya ngokuvulela.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
After you had opened
Yes.
the room where he was.
Yes.
And then immediately thereafter, what then happened? Did other people get into their house or what happened?
Emuva kwalokho ke ngabe kwangena abanye abantu endlini noma kwenzekani?
Yebo bekhona abantu abesendlini njengoba ngishilo ukuthi ngiyakhumbula ukuthi kakhona nomakhelwane khona owazi wathi fonela namaphoyisa omunye noma kakusa uyena lo wathi ngoba usaphila mphuthumisene esibhedlela. That's when vele sasesimqubula nathi ke in assistance labafana baka next door, ufana ka next door no Tumelo nabanye abafana abesebekhona kakusegcwele nje kodwa.
Yes, there were people, because as I said that even the neighbors were there. I remember the other one saying because he's still alive, called the police. That's when he then picked him up as well as other young men, even the one from the neighbors.
Now, at the time when, now you're saying at the time at which you picked him from that very same spot that you have shown there, already the Ngache's, the boy from Ngache's family was there, and he also assisted you to pick him up from that very same spot.
Uthi ke kulokho ke nalo wakwanqatheke wayesekhona naye wakusiza ukumphakamisa khona lapho.
Yebo.
Yes.
And you then took him straight to the Moravia Highkill, which is now the access.
Yebo.
Yes.
Okay. You know the reason why I'm asking you this, because this court has heard from Mr. Ngache, that's now young Ngache, that when he got into the house, can you please go back to the sketch play? When he got into the house, he found Senzo lying at that opening that leads to the I think it's an opening of the kitchen that leads into the main, what do they call it now? It's a corridor. No, wait.
Yeah?
Yes, he found him lying there, and he was just alone there. There was nobody that was assisting him.
Imbangela ukuthi ngikubuzeke lo mbuzo ngoba lo wakwanqatheke ukhaya uthi uma ibuya yena ke wambona khona lapha yala ubukhombe khona kungenamuntu omsizayo.
Cela ukuba nisho uthi wambona la kule ark le.
Did he say he saw him where the witness is pointing?
That's where.
That is exactly where he saw him, but more into the passage.
Uthi kakhulukazi epassage ni kuthi la ambona khona kungenamuntu eyedwa kungenamuntu omlekelelayo noma omsizayo.
Ngiyacabanga ukuthi umfana waka Ngashe wangena after mina. So mina ngafikela kuyena uSenzo. The only time engasuka eduze kwaSenzo was when ngiyovulela uTumelo. Ngase ngibuyela kuyena uSenzo.
Yes.
I think the Ngache gentleman, a guy, came into the house, or he came into the house after me.
Yes.
And I found Senzo there. The only time I left Senzo was when I went to Tumelo to open for Tumelo, and then I came back to Senzo.
So angazi ke noma yena ungene ngalesikhathi ngisayovulela uTumelo ngibuya noma kodwa egcineni uSenzo wayinami phansi ngoba ithawula engangisebenzisa imina ngipress ngalelo thawula.
So I don't know whether he came in at the time when I had gone to assist Tumelo, but eventually I came back to Senzo, and the towel, I'm the one who was assisting Senzo using that towel.
Yes, Mr. Tola, that's not in dispute. By the point here being, you are saying when you came back from the Ngaches, when you got into the house, you found Senzo sleeping at the point at which you pointed this coordinate. So.
Kodwa ke okushoyo asiphikisi lo qedwe kusho kodwa okushoyo ukuthi wena wamthola elelikile yandawo wena oyikhombila ngithi.
Yebo.
Yes.
And you further saying that there were other people in the house ultimately who assisted with the lifting of Sendo or to carry him into the Moravia Highkill that was standing outside, amongst others. Who assisted you to do so was the Ngache boy.
Uphinde uqhubekeke uthi wasizwa noma walekelelwa abantu uqhubula uSenzo nemsemotweni. Phakathi kwalabo bantu ke kwakukhona ukhaya Ngache.
Yebo ngikushilo lokho.
Yes,
ngisasho futhi namanje. Yimina engifike eqala kunomfana wakaNgache. Ngasiza uTumelo. Ngase ngibuyela kuSenzo. Abantu bese befika nje bengisho ukuthi kwase kuyogcwala abantu. Angisho ukuthi ngifike ngafica abantu abaningi or ngafica umfana wakaNgache. Umfana wakaNgache ufike emva kwami. Wase yangisiza equbuleni uSenzo. Kwase kufika nje bengisho ukuthi kwase kukhona nabantu ababefika nomakhelwane kwayibona abashoyo. So I was wafika qala yena akafika ngaqala.
Not that he got there before me. I got there before him. I then went to assist Tumelo. I came back. And then that's when the people came, as I said. Not that he got there before me.
I'm not suggesting that he could have arrived before you. That's the sequence that I'm trying to give you. that you arrived there after you had entered the house. You turn into your right, you realize that Senzo was sleeping at the point where you have pointed to this court. Then from there you had somebody knocking in one of the doors there. You went to assist him. You realized that it was Mr. Madlala, and then you went back to Senzo. He was still sleeping at that very same point. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now you are saying that there came a point where you then decide, there was a suggestion that Senzo should be taken to hospital because he was still alive, and others suggested that police should also be called, which is the right thing. When all that was happening, Senzo was still lying there, not so?
Khona konke lokho kukhulunywa ngepolice station, kukhulunywa amaphoyisa, kukhulunywa ngokuthi asiwe esibhedlela usaphila, kwenzeka lokho uSenzo usalele kuleya ndawo.
Yebo.
Yes.
Now people say, let us then take him out to the motor vehicle, and amongst those people who assisted you to take him from the point where he was lying is Mr. Ngache's son.
Kulabo bantu abakusiza ke noma babelekelela ke ukuthi kuqhutshule uSenzo kule ndawo elele kuyona ke asiwe emotweni ukhaya Ngache.
Not so?
Yebo.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Ngache's son says indeed he assisted in carrying Senzo into the motor vehicle, but when he got into the house, he himself, he found Senzo lying just near that arc that gets into the kitchen, not at the place where you have pointed out to this court. And when you got there, Senzo was lying there alone, unattended to.
Ukubona ke lokho ke uNgache ke vele walekelela ukusa uSenzo emotweni, kodwa ke akushoyo ukuthi uma ngabe yena efika ke uSenzo wayengaleli kule ndawo wena ke uyikhombile, kodwa eleli khona lapha yana ke kule ndawo beshiye yena ngaphambilini kungenamuntu omlekelelayo.
Without being disrespectful kulabantu omnini womuzi ngaleli la ngisho khona, ndibe ngikubuzile nami ngasekuqaleni wathi by the arc ngakwi passage, ngoba ngifuna ukucacisa lokho ukuthi njoba ngishilo nami ukuthi inyawo zaSenzo zazi lapha ngakumata, kodwa ubude bakhe bude buzofika ngase passage.
Bambe lapho. Without being disrespectful to the people of the house or the people there, I did explain as to how Senzo was laying, that his feet were on the mat, but his head or the entire body was stretching up to the passage.
Engizama ukusho ukuthi lo muzi akona umuzi omkhulu ungathi mhlawumbe umuzi wangalelo hall, umuzi omncane lo, uSenzo mude ucisha abe height yakho.
Bambe lapho ke. What I'm then saying is that that's not a big house. That's a small house, and Senzo is tall. He's
yes.
almost your height.
Yeah, I'm 2.2 meters tall. So he could be plus minus 2 meters. You know,
yeah.
When you say almost.
Keep.
Yes. No. In other words, what I'm trying to say to you is that what you are saying is not exactly what Mr. Ngache's son is saying, because I understood you to mean that Senzo was lying near the sofas. Mr. Ngache said he was just at the kitchen arc that gets into the passage. Wena ukuthi beseduze ngamasofa yena ebethi nje beseduze nearc yase kitchen.
Yet again bengizoba nenkinga mhlawumbe kube bengitheme mina uSenzo ubelele kitchen, bengizobona ukuthi hayi cha lapho angeke uze kwazi.
Yes.
So I passage ne dining, it's almost the same place. Cishe ube indaba yodwa, even though ngingekho exact ukuthi ikuphi, but it's almost the same place ngoba lo muzi muncane kakhulu. Mhlawumbe bengithe uSenzo ube ufika ngicibelele kitchen mangena, that's ke mhlawumbe ngakudisputa lokho, but lokho okushoyo ukuthi passage no dining room kumina ngibona ku almost the same thing ngoba inla cishe ngimthole khona naye usho the very same place ukuthi nje ku different ngesibale esincane.
We are saying exactly the same thing, myself and Kaya. If that is what you are disputing, it would have been an issue if I had said he was in the kitchen. The kitchen, the dining room, and the passage and the dining room is almost the same place.
Let's go further. He further says that at the time when he got into the house, at that same spot where he said, not your spot, where he said he found Senzo. Senzo was lying alone there. Nobody was attending to him. And you are saying you had been with Senzo there at a point where you had pointed out to this court.
Aphinde futhi ke athi wena uthi wawumsiza yena uthi kwakungena umuntu wayemsiza.
Yabona ke lapho futhi ngibuya lento engishilo ukuthi what if ungene ngesikhathi ngisayovulela uDumelo, obviously usenze ube yedwa leso sikhathi, then ngase ngabuya mina ngaya kuyena ngeke ngize ngingene endlini ngimbone usenze limele bese ngenzani shothi ngihamba ngayohlala etoilet mhlawumbe understand ngoba nami lokho engikushoyo ngangizomyekelana umngane nami ngimbone limele la.
It goes back to what I said that maybe when he came in, it's when I had gone to assist Dumelo. Because there was no way I was going to go into the house, leave my friend as I see that he is hurt, and maybe do what? Go and sit in the toilet.
Thank you for that explanation, Mr. Madlala. But I'm putting it to you that...
Twala. Mr. Twala.
Excuse me?
Mr. Twala.
Not Madlala, you said Madlala.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, my apologies, Mr.
No
Twala.
problem.
I'm putting it to you, Mr. Twala, that as the questions are coming, you are trying to tailor your version that is contradictory to what Mr. Ngache has said to suit the narrative that you are trying to give to this court.
Is there any basis for making this breathtaking statement to the witness? We submit that there isn't.
You're saying there's no basis. Just for my edification, is it material whether Senzo was lying in the dining room right next to the TV, or he was lying towards the passage and the ark? Does it make any difference? Because the fact of the matter is, the witnesses all say he was shot. Now, even if he was in the bedroom, does it make any difference to the case we are handling here? He was skit. He was shot. All of us listening to the evidence, we all heard that he was shot inside the house, in the kitchen, and I'm saying, like the witness is saying, it's a small house. When you are in the passage and the dining room, the other day I said the way I see it, when you put your leg apart from the kitchen, you are in the passage. Thereafter, dining room.
Thank you.
Thereafter, the ark. If it's material, fine, you can pursue that aim.
I'm not so sure whether the court has already made a prima facie view that these contradictions are not material.
No, that's why I said if it is material,
yes,
you can continue on that line.
Which is the...
Hello?
I'm sorry, my lord.
You can continue on the same line if it is material for your defense, fine.
Which is the reason why, my lord, I'm putting it to him.
Yeah.
So I'm not so sure what is then the basis of an objection, in the sense that what are the basis of that statement, because I've demonstrated that what Mr. Ngache said and what this witness is saying
it's different.
Exactly not the same thing.
Yes,
whether that is material or not is for the court to decide.
Yeah, fine. Yes. I hear you. Mr.
The substance of the objection was that he's putting to the witness that he's tailoring his evidence.
Oh, tailoring the evidence.
Yes, that's.
Oh, so you say he must explain why he's making that assertion?
Yes, indeed,
that this witness is tailoring his version.
Indeed.
Okay. Mr. Mnisi.
The witness says initially that Senzo is lying next to the sofas there, next to the couches. But as the questions are coming up, then he starts by saying, and then he comes up with a version that says, no, Senzo was tall. Part of Senzo's body was lying on the couches. Part of Senzo's body was lying near the ark. When initially, in his evidence in chief, that was never said. That was never put to this court, and I can also assume that this court is sharing that version for the first time. Not so. That is the basis why I'm saying that as the case progresses or as cross-examination goes on, this witness is tailoring his evidence to suit a particular narrative that he has come to deliver to this
Okay.
court. Madam. Thank you, my lords.
Yes, let's continue.
I said to you, Mr. Twala, basically I would have had 2 questions. Let me go back to my 2 questions, or 1 or 2 questions.
As you please.
Yes. You would recall that in the course of the investigation of this case, you were requested to come and assist with a compilation of an identity kit, which would have assisted the investigators to look around to identify who the possible intruders were in this matter, not so?
Ushiloke ukuthi kune ID kit owaya kuyona ke ukusiza amaphoyisa ukuthi atholeke ukuthi ubani ke noma bangaba ubani ke abambandakanyekayo kulolu cala.
Yebo.
Yes.
Now, you would recall, if I'm mistaken, this information that we got from the state, that in that course, you had a consultation with a police officer known as Warrant Officer A.Y. Steenkamp. I think it's a lady. Do you call that?
Kunomama ke Steenkamp owakhulumisana naye ke noma waba ne-interview naye Steenkamp.
Yebo.
Yes.
Mama, yes.
It's a lady, yes.
I'm not so sure whether you will recall the date, but in the documents that were submitted to us by the state, it is indicated that you had a consultation with her on the 29th of December 2014.
The 29th of December 2014.
Is that so?
Yes, that's
Yes.
true.
Thank you. Now, very briefly, I just want to put it to you. You said that throughout your evidence, and that's not in dispute, and in a number of statements, or in 1 or 2 of the statements that you also gave to the police, you testified that you were not in a position to identify the type of a firearm that the first intruder had in his possession, not so?
Ushilo ke kufakazi bakho bonke ke ukuthi ke isibhamu lesi awayesiphethe lona woqala ngeke ukwazi ukusichaza.
Yebo.
Yes.
However, and please understand me, Ms. Steenkamp wrote in her report that at the time at which she had this consultation with you, you made mention of the fact that the first intruder, who you described as a person having some dreadlocks, had a firearm which was an old revolver.
Kodwa ke kwabhalile yena uSteenkamp uthi wena wachazanga na njenge revolver endala.
Do you understand?
Yes.
That's what I'm putting to you. Is that what you told her?
Iloko wamtshela kona.
Angikhumbuli ngikusho lokho kodwa and the day ngakhuluma nesikhathi ngicina la ngaze ngangidide ukuthi kwa revolver yini revolver. Yena vele wayisebenzisa lelo gama le revolver but mina personally ngangayazi revolver angiyazi revolver mina.
I don't remember saying that. I also remember that on the last time that I was here, when it was mentioned that I mentioned that I don't even know what a revolver is. Yes, she made mention of that name, but I personally don't know what kind of a firearm a revolver is.
She made mention of the word revolver. In what context did she mention it?
Uma uthi wayelisho yena lelo gama wayelisho uma kwenze njani noma kwakungani alisho.
I think umuntu mawumchazela mawuthi uyakubuza nje efuna ukwazi information kumina uzosebenzisa vele obviously ama type A bhamu afisa angibuza ukuthi mhlambe was it a revolver, was it AK or whatever uzosebenzisa lawo magama lawo awasebenzisayo.
When it is that she is asking me questions and she wants to understand, yes indeed she is going to make mention of the words in trying to establish from me which kind of a firearm it was, a revolver, an AK. So she is going to make mention of the names.
Because mina ngikwaziyo ngangimtshela ukuthi angizazi ibhamu.
What I know, which I told her, is that I know nothing about firearms, or I don't know firearms.
Let us not use parables, Mr. Twala. Let us be precise in what we're saying. what exactly, in what context, what exactly did Ms. Steenkamp say about this revolver? You said she made mention of a revolver. What did she say about this revolver? Let's take out the AK-47s and all other firearms. What exactly did she say about this revolver?
Asiyeke ezinye ibhamu lezo ishilo kama AK kodwa yinike awayeyisho nanjengoba usho ukuthi ke yakuyigama wayelisebenzisa vele yena wayelisebenzisa ethini ngayo irevolver.
Angeke ngize ngisakhumbula ukuthi wayikhulume ethini ngerevolver.
I won't be able to remember.
Engikuchazela kona ufuna ukudispute ngithi so angeke ngize akukho okuzodlula lokho ke.
Because you are disputing what I'm saying, so nothing will be above that. Because I won't be able to remember exactly as to what it is that she was saying about the revolver.
Ngiyacabanga ukuthi mhlambe yena ke usengeza ke mhlambe yena achaze ke yena ukuthi wayengichazela kanjani.
I think that maybe she would then have to come and explain as to how she said it to me.
Before she comes, Mr. Twala, we need to get your vision. Understand, you are the one who is saying Ms. Steenkamp, in the course of the interview that she had with you, is the one who mentioned a revolver. Now, I want to know from you, in what context, what is it that she was saying about the revolver? How did she use the word revolver in the context of the interview that she had with you? What did she say was wrong with this revolver?
Why is he wrong with the revolver?
Njengoba ngisho ukuthi angisakhumbuli kahle ukuthi sit down yami nayo uMrs Steenkamp yayithini engikushoyo ngoba wena ungibuze ngegama le revolver ngathi igama le revolver lali mention nawo yena ngoba engichazela ngizothini inhlobo zezibhamu ngoba ngangimtshenela ukuthi angizazi ibhamu mina. So obviously igama le revolver lasuka lapho he has a making mention kuwena ukuthi wayesho ukuthi is a revolver, is it an AK, is it the what. So angazi ukuthi mina wayifu igama le revolver ke lingena kanjani ke lapho yazalibhala statement kodwa yena walisha igama le revolver kumina.
I don't know as to how my sit down was with her, but as you were asking me and you made mention of the word revolver, yes. I was then explaining that she was then asking about or mentioning the different types of firearms. So I don't know as to how the word of the revolver then came in trying to clarify or find out to me the weapon that was used.
Hence ngisho ukuthi mhlawumbe yena mayesefika ke yena uyoclarify lokho ngoba nami ngiyasho ukuthi sengikhohliwe kangangeke ngize ngikhumbule yonke into. But ke ngiyazama ngayo yonke indlela ukuthi ngikuphendule lo mbuzo.
And so I'm saying that when she comes, she will then clarify because I won't be able to remember everything, and I'm trying to answer that question.
You're saying that the word revolver, she's the one who actually introduced it in the context of your conversation. Do I understand you? Well, in that regard.
Yes, I can say that. As someone who's familiar with firearms.
When she introduced it, what is it that she wanted to try and find out from you when she introduced this word revolver?
Umesebenzisa lelo gama ethi revolver kwakuyini awayenesifiso sokuyazi kuwena uma ngaba eveza lelo gama le revolver?
Muhle lo mbuzo kodwa ubuza umuntu wrong kufanele ubuze yena.
That's a good question, but you're asking it to the wrong person. You can maybe put it to her.
Ukuthi yini la ifuna ukuyisho njengoba usho ukuthi what was she trying to,
as you are saying, as to what it is that she was trying to establish.
You're saying you consistently kept on telling her that you do not know the types of firearm. All that you know is that this person who was the first intruder had a firearm. Is that what you're saying?
Ubuqhubeka njalo nje usho kuyena ukuthi inhlobo zezibhamu uzazi kodwa kwazi ukuthi lo woqala wangena wayephethe isibhamu.
Yebo.
Yes.
And yet, despite that explanation of yours, she went on to write here that in terms of what the first suspect had in his possession, you said he had an old revolver. Despite the explanation that you said no, you can't actually describe the type of firearm that the suspect had in his possession. Not so.
Kodwa ke noma kunjalo ukushilo wena lokho kushilo kodwa yena umebhala phansi ubhala irevolver endala.
Oh, revolver. njengoba usho nje now. Yes.
As you say, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Twala. I'm putting it to you, Mr. Twala, that there's no way in which a person who could not have been in the house on that day in question would simply assume or thumbsuck information and put it in such an important document. You are the one who told him, her. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Jonas.
Akwenzeki-ke noma angeke kwenzeke-ke ukuthi umuntu owayengekho endlini angabhala phansi lento ayibhalile-ke noma ayincele esithupheni ukuthi abhale lokho akubhalile, kodwa yena-ke kwakuwumuntu owayengekho endlini. Without?
I'm putting it to you that all the information that is contained in this so important document is information that you got from you.
Konke lokho akubhalile-ke kuleya document ayiphethe-ke Advocate Mnisi ukuthi information le awayithola kuwena.
Engingakusho ukuthi kona kulokho angeke uzusho ukuthi umuntu wayengekho endlini lapha akazi ukuthi orubhale into ayibhalile ngoba bakhona babengekho endlini kodwa bakhuluma izinto ezazingekho abafuna nami ngivuma izinto ezazingekho.
What you are saying now is that there is no way, or it is impossible for someone who was not in the house could have written that, but there are people who were in the house who are saying, sorry, my apologies, who were not in the house, who are saying their own things, who want me to admit to things that they say, yet they were not in the house.
Hence Mr. Steenkamp engikushoyo ukuthi mhlambe yena uzoza ukuthi azoclarify ezinye izinto ngoba nje bengisho ukuthi okunye angisakukhumbuli osasikukhuluma lapha, angimphikisi angiphiki nami kodwa ngakho ngithi naye uzoza azoclarisha lezi zinto eyishoyo zama revolver nantontoni.
As I'm saying that, then Mrs. Steenkamp will then come to court and clarify the issues that you are mentioning about the revolvers and what. I am not disputing it or saying what, but hence I'm saying that maybe she would come and clarify those things.
Now, Mr. Twala, I don't want us to go around in circles. Now, just now you're saying you're not disputing what she's saying. Do I understand you well, that you don't dispute what she's saying?
Kodwa ukuthi-ke manje uthi awungeke-ke umphikise noma uthini-ke
ngiphendula
okay, yep.
Ngiphendula from lento content yento oyishoyo wena yokuthi uthi umuntu wayengekho endlini angafike abhale into engekho. That's why ngiqale ngakutshela ukuthi bakhona ababengekho endlini ababefuna mina personally ngivuma izinto ezazingekho.
I am answering that based on the context of what you've just said to me, which is then why I am saying that there are people who were not in the house yet wanted me to admit to things.
Hence ngisho ukuthi Mrs. Steenkamp ngiyacela ke nami ukuthi ayizele la enkantolo uzofika clarify ngoba ngithi nganginayo sobabili, so mina lokho engikushoyo makuthi awukuzwa wena uzoza lokho akushoyo ke yena ke esela enkantolo.
And so I'm then making this request that maybe Ms. Steenkamp should come and then clarify. Isn't it that you don't get or take what I am saying? Maybe you will then understand or accept what she is saying or she would be saying.
When it comes to legality revolve, obviously you are a defense, so you understand.
When it comes to the word revolver, because clearly you are a defense, I understand.
No, as I'm standing here just for your information, I'm not a defense, I'm an officer of this court. I'm here to assist the court to come to a just and equitable finding in respect of this case. I'm not here to defend anything. I'm here as an officer of this court. But that was just for your own information. No, he says you must interpret that to him.
I understand.
Mr. Mnisi.
No, I'm fine. Now, Mr. Twala, still on the issue of the revolver, I know what I'm going to put to you here. You're not privy to that information. But this is what is also happening. The investigating officer, Mr. Kininda, when he approached a magistrate to apply for a warrant of arrest against all these accused persons here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
he penned or he submitted an affidavit, that is statement under oath, where he also says in that affidavit of his that one of the intruders, the gentleman who had dreadlocks, who had a firearm in his possession when he got into the house, had a revolver in his possession.
Lana ke ukutshela ke ngalokho okwenziwa uyena ke umseshi noma umphenyi ke waleli cala uGininda noma ke uBrigadier Gininda wathi uma eseya kwimantshi noma ke eyobona imantshi eyokwenza ke isicelo salokhu ke abathi warrant of arrest ukugunyaziswa ke ukuboshwa kwabo abasolwa bonke laba abaphambi kwalenkantolo unencwadi ke efungelo lena abathi affidavit awayenza ke ethi ke omunye walabo abangena endlini lona owayenama dreadlocks futhi ke ephethe isibhamu wayephethe i-revolver magama yinto leyo ebhalwe kuleyo affidavit yakhe uBrigadier Gininda.
So as I've said, you might not be private.
I'm sorry, my colleague, to interrupt. Can perhaps counsel just produce that affidavit, show it to the witness and say in this paragraph this is what Gininda is saying, unlike, just making such a general statement. Scott, please.
Yes, Mr. Mnisi.
I'll do that, my lord.
When?
I'm going to do it now.
Oh, fine.
But I'm not so sure whether should I understand that objection as an insinuation that is not the case. Because from where I am seated and I understand the basis of this objection is that it could be that affidavit is not there, and it is an affidavit that was discovered to us by the state. I would expect the state to be privy to that information, but let me do it, my lord. Thank you. As it is the court, my lord.
What's you say it was discovered, that affidavit?
Yes, it was discovered by the state.
Yeah, fine. What annexure is it?
I'm not so sure whether it's part of the annexures, my lord, but
how
that's...
can you discover it if it's not?
My lord?
How can Mr. Baloyi discover it if he hasn't itemized it?
It's a statement, my lord. It's a content of the docket. It could not have been part of the exhibits, my lord, because it's the content of the document that was made available to us as we prepared for this trial, my lord. And I'm referring to A198, that's A198 of Foslores case. Foslores case 636-10 of 2014. I'm not so sure if my colleague has got that paper or it's got that information. Now on page, unfortunately this affidavit is not numbered, but I think it's on page number, it's 1, 2, 3. I think it's paragraph 3. Paragraph 3 is subdivided into semi-paragraphs. Specifically on subparagraph 3.3.
3.3.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Now he says, paragraph 3.3, my lord, he says, and I'm going to read into the record, my lord. He says, the photos that were found on his cell phone memory showed him wearing the same clothing that were identified by witnesses on the day of the incident as the person carrying a revolver upon entering the house. This affidavit was commissioned on the 3rd of October 2020, and the commissioner being Batubakaye Belina Mohola, who is a sergeant, designation a police officer, and he was commissioned at Troya Sanaside Police Station.
I've listened. The question was, or the request was, to show it.
Indeed, we are aware of that affidavit.
That's all.
Just saying, just point out the relevant portions
That's
to the
it.
witness.
That was the request by Mr. Baloyi, that show the witness the affidavit.
I don't see any reason why should I show this witness an affidavit, madam.
Oh, you prefer?
Is it not sufficient if I?
Okay, fine.
If I've read the content of this affidavit into the record, why should it really be necessary for me to say, Mr. Witness, this is the affidavit, can you read? What if this witness does not even know how to read, my lord? Because we have not yet established this level of education, except for the fact that he was editing a book. He edited a book. But in essence, what I'm trying to say, my lord, is that what I'm putting to this witness is not information that I'm sucking.
No, fine. So you're not going to show the witness?
Yes.
Yeah, fine, no problem.
Yes. I'm then not so sure whether my colleague is happy now about the fact that Mr. Kininda said what I've put to this witness, because that was the gist. I'm not so sure if he's happy.
I thought,
as we indicated, the basis of the objection was that when you put a proposition to a witness, you show the witness the relevant portion for that witness to comment. That's all that we are asking.
As it is a court, my lord, I think to put this matter beyond doubt, which is actually the functionality of the state, to prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt, may I, with the leave of court, show this witness the portion that I've referred to.
I thought both of you are officers of the court. You and Mr. Baloyi, and you are here to assist this court to establish the truth.
Excuse me, my lord.
I thought both of you are officers of this court.
That's correct, my lord.
And you would agree how to go about establishing the truth, assisting the court.
Exactly, my lord.
Now, why do you argue? I'm not going to show you. I'm going to read it.
Yes, my lord. Which is the reason why.
And ultimately, you show him.
Yes. Which is the reason why, my lord, I'm a bit perturbed on the basis of the objection by the state, which is the reason why I actually indicated earlier on. Is it then suggested that the information that I'm putting to this witness is not correct?
Okay, Mr. Mnisi.
As it is a court, madam. Are you
Uthi
happy,
naye
sir?
ke leyakubonisa yena-ke noma akufundela yona iy'thombe ezatholakala kumakhalekhukhwini wakhe noma kwi-memory yayo-ke zikhombisa yena-ke noma zimtshengisa egqoke iy'mpahla ekuyizona lezi-ke akhonjwa ngazo awofakazi ngalelo langa lesigameko nanjengomsolwa ephethe i-revolver nkathi engena endlini. Uthi istatement-ke sikaGininda lesi.
I know.
Should I reply?
Excuse me.
Should I reply?
As I've said, as I've said in my prelude, that you might not be privy to this information, because when Kininda penned that affidavit, you were not there. If you've got a comment, you can comment. If you don't have, you can simply say, I don't have a comment.
Nanjengoba wawungekho nkathi.
Comment uzoyizela yena uGininda.
Kininda will come himself, no comment.
Thank you, sir.
Kushi editor.
Says the editor.
My lord, I had indicated that I would only be having 2 questions. That is the end of my 2 questions.
Okay.
Thank you, my lord. I've got no further questions to this witness. Thank you, my lord.
Was it 2?
Excuse me.
Yes, Mr. Uma.
My lord, I see it's 5-3. I'm not sure whether it will be fair for me to commence my cross-examination now.
What time do we retire, Mr.
May.
Baloyi?
At 3:30, my lord.
Continue. If you don't finish, there's still tomorrow.
So I'm going to commence my cross-examination in the following respect. How did you meet the deceased on the 25th of October 2014?
Ngizoqala ke ngalendlela uma nihlangana ke nomufi nge25 nahlangana kanjani?
Sahlangana Orlando Stadium. Ngiyobuka igame yakhe.
We met at Orlando Stadium. I went to watch a game where he was playing.
Yeah, wayidlala lo game ebusuku.
It was a night game.
Wayethe ngingahambi ngimlinde ngiyazi mina silindana kuphi naye kwi-entrance yasema la ungena emaswithini so ngamlinda lapho sasihlangana lapho.
He had requested me not to leave. I know where we normally meet at the entrance of the suites, so that's where I waited for him.
How did you meet him? Did he phone you or he picked you up at your home in Katlehong?
Ingabe wakufonela noma nahlanga noma wayokulanda kini eKatlehong?
Uyangidida kumbuzo manje.
The question is now confusing me.
Wayidlala igame yena on mhla 25 angithi. Waqeda igame sahlangana naye emaswithini. So
he was playing a game on the 25th, so after the game we met at the suites.
Did you arrange that you were going to meet?
Engaba into nanihlelile ukuthi nizohlangana?
Yebo sasihlelile.
Yes, we did.
Can you remember the cell phone number that the deceased was using during that period?
Usayikhumbula yini i-cell number awayisebenzisa ngaleso sikhathi?
Noma ngeke ngisayikhumbula kahle but u082 ngasho ukuthi uVodacom. I think u082 99 ngisazi ngangiyazi ngekhanda kodwa it's 9.
I knew it back then but it was a Vodacom 08299 but I don't know.
Or 079 zawu2 angisazi ngingasho kanjalo because
there are now
but
two.
I think it was uVodacom inumber ka Vodacom.
It was a Vodacom number.
Because sasesu2 inumber ayisebenzisa ngesikhathi before
he was
using two numbers before his passing.
So he had two cell phone numbers.
Angeke ngizisho ukuthi he had two cell phone. Yeah, ngingasho kanjalo yes.
I would say so, yes.
Yes.
How many cell phones did he have?
Ama cell phone wona ayemangaki?
Iyodwa kwi iPhone.
One, an iPhone.
Does the number or the following number ring the bell? The 277143795551.
Can you repeat it, please?
277143795551.
I think leyo number nginumber eseyisebenzisa entsha leyo ngoba le enye ngiyazi ukuthi kaku082 but because of isigameko esasenzeka between yena noKelly noMandisa imedia nani wayesebenzisa enye number so that's why ngisho zazi u2 inumber.
Yes, I'm saying that he had two numbers. That number was now a new number because of the incident that was happening with him, Kelly and Mandisa, the media. I think that was now the new number.
Was that the number, the 071 number, or the number ending 551, the number that he was using on the 26th of October 2014?
Le number lena akaqeda uyifunda manje ephela ngo551 ingabe iyona yini inumber awayisebenzisa nge26 kaOctober 2014?
Ngiyacabanga anginayisho ngiyacabanga.
I think so, I'm not certain. I think so.
You told this court that the deceased arrived around 1900 hours in the evening. Do you confirm that? You told this court that the deceased, I'm sorry. Long Etwala arrived around 1900 hours on the 26th of October 2014.
Uyitshelile lenkantolo ukuthi uLongwe ke wafika ngabo 7 ebusuku ke ngalela langa lela lesigameko.
Yebo.
Yes.
When he entered the house, was he alone or he was in the company of some other people?
Uma engena endlini wangena ehamba yedwa noma wangena ehamba nabantu?
Wangena ehamba yedwa.
Alone.
So when Tumelo Madlala went out for a smoke,
so I think he's saying something.
Angisazi ukuthi usho yedwa, are you implying yedwa as in without abantu babesendlini noma usho ukuthi mhlawumbe bangena nomunye umuntu or nabanye abantu?
When you
just
are saying,
clarify lokho.
If you can just clarify when you say was he alone, are you referring to someone from within the people that were inside the house or someone else, if you were just to clarify that?
I mean when he entered the house.
Angisazi noma ngena noZandi.
I don't know whether he came in with Zandi or what.
I'm asking this because, okay, before I get there, you told this court that there was a stage when Tumelo Madlala went out for a smoke. You then accompanied Tumelo Madlala outside.
Uyitshelile ke lenkantolo ukuthi kunesikhathi la khona uTumelo waphuma ke eyobhema wase nawe uyamkhapha ke.
Yebo.
Yes.
At that stage, had Longwe Twala arrived?
Wayesefikile yini ngaleso sikhathi uLongwe Twala?
Yes, wayesekhona.
Yes, he was there.
Did anyone went outside to fetch Longwe Twala or he came in on his own?
Ingabe khona yini umuntu owaphuma eyolanda uTumelo uLongwe ngaphandle noma wangena ehamba yedwa?
Ilokho ngisho ukuthi angisakukhumbuli kahle noma ngathi uZandi waphuma wayakuyena wabuye sebuya noZandi.
That's what I'm referring to, that I can't remember well whether Zandi went out to go and fetch him.
You confirm that you had not mentioned that, whether we cannot remember whether he came in alone or Zandi went out to fetch him. Before I ask you this question, you haven't said that in your evidence in chief. You confirm that you haven't said that in your evidence in chief, whether we cannot remember whether he came on his own or Zandi went out to fetch him, until I ask you about that.
Uzokhumbula yini ukuthi inkathi ku-advocate ke umshushisi ke ekuyena ke ebekulida ke ubufakazi bakho ukuthi awukushongo lokho kwazi kwayisikhathi mina engikubuza ngakho ke engikubuza ngaso ukuthi ke awukhumbuli noma ukuthi uZandi wahamba wayomlanda noma wangena yedwa yini?
The witness did testify that Longwe did arrive there. This aspect was perhaps at that stage not raised specifically, but he did mention that Longwe arrived.
Remember, I keep on saying, if there's a contradiction, is it material or not? The fact that Longwe came alone there, went inside the house alone, or was fetched by Zandi, and together they came in. At the end of the day, Longwe went into that house. I mean, that's the point.
I'll leave that for argument, madam. Thank you.
Yes.
Let us go to Exhibit 01 of the record. Exhibit 01, Mr. Twala, is an affidavit by Colonel Stein, the one who analyzed the records. Let us go to page 87 of Exhibit 01.
87.
87.
Just a moment, please.
Colonel Stein did say his affidavit is split into two. If counsel, maybe this Exhibit 01 and 02.
Yeah.
Exhibit 01.
01 ends with 46.
Page 87.
There's no page 87.
There's no
It says it's
87.
been split into two.
Ends on 46.
It's 02, exhibit 02, the last page of exhibit 02.
O2. Okay. Okay. I think this is the page, but can you press it because it's also written 47.
Page 87 of exhibit 01. Sorry, not 02, 01. It's an exchange between Zandi and Longwe Twala. It contains the SMSs.
Just read, I'll tell you if it is.
Okay.
Like that.
The SMS that was sent according to exhibit 01 on the 26th of October 2014 at 8 hours 26 minutes 45 seconds PM.
Yeah, the page is the same. We've got the page, but it's not 87, but you can read.
Oh, okay.
Hi, how can you say that?
No, I'm saying that it's not 87.
Yeah, no, what you read into the record must be correct.
Okay, my lord.
Because if it goes to any other court, they don't know that you said, no, it doesn't matter, you can go on.
Sorry, my lord.
I'll just lend you this one, but it must be returned there.
You want the SMS that says, I'm waiting outside?
The other one, my lord.
Oh, I see.
Yes. I've moved on.
Is that the one?
This is 87.
Okay.
So those are the exchange of SMSs between Longwe Twala and Twala 2. It was sent on the 26th of October 2014 at 8 hours 26 minutes 45 seconds. The content of the SMS was, and I quote, Senzo is dead. They just shot him in front of us.
Okay. Now you get the message 24, 10, 26, 8, 26. Usenzo ushonile baqeda umdubulo phambi kwethu.
I-message esuka kubani yakubani?
From who to who?
It's from Longwe Twala, from the number 27608040043. So it's the number of Longwe Twala to Twala 2.
Ithi lana ke Twala 2 isuka kuLongwe Twala inumber EU 07608040043. Bhalwe Twala 2 la.
Do you see
I don't
that?
know. I hear you.
Yes, I'm continuing. Let us now go to page 42 of exhibit 01.
Yes, I'm there.
The first paragraph. This is a translation that was attached to this SMS, the one that I've referred to by Colonel Stein. He says the following, and I quote, "The following SMS found on downloads of Longwe confirmed that he didn't shoot Senzo because he mentioned that he was shot in front of them."
Lana ke ubaba uSteini ke lona osebenza emaphoyiseni kuyena enza ke ama download uthi le SMS elandelayo ke ethole kuma downloads kaLongwe Twala iyaqinisekisa ke ukuthi yena ke akazange amdubule uSenzo ngoba ushilo ke ukuthi wadutshulwa phambi kwabo.
You understand that?
Yes.
So, what will be your translation of the content of this SMS? The one that I've referred to.
Wena ke uma utolika lo the SMS ke engiqeda ukufundela yona ke ukuthi ungayichaza noma ungayitolika kanjani?
i-SMS esuka kulongwa ngiyithe akulo muntu amsendelile so ngiyacabanga ukuthi ulongo ufana zela azoyidolikela yena ukuthi SMS biqonda ukuthini.
It's an SMS from Longwe, not so, to the person that he was sending it to. So Longwe should come and explain what he meant by the SMS.
But when you are reading the SMS, if you can read the SMS, what does it mean, according to you?
It's opinion evidence. It's a collateral issue. Witnesses answered. It cannot be taken any further.
Where are you going to? Because Colonel Stein said, it's my opinion. You heard him say that?
Yes.
Stein said, it's my opinion. So you want another opinion?
Yes, if possible.
Okay. Pursue it then.
Yes. What would be your opinion of this SMS?
The opinion of
I have no opinion
of this evidence is irrelevant.
Okay, fine. The witness says he doesn't have an opinion.
Does this not mean that when the deceased was shot, Longwe was also present?
Akusho lokho ukuthi inkathi umufi edutshula uLongwe naye wayekade ekhona.
Ngiyakuzwa ukuthi uthini.
I hear what you're saying.
Ngendlela yena isho ngayo.
According to how he says it.
Ngoba uthi in front of us. Ngoba uthi wayengekho. So ngiyakuzwa ukuthi
he's saying in front of us, but he wasn't there.
Is it your evidence that when the deceased was shot at Senzo had left? Longwe had left.
Ubufakazi bakho ukuthi nkathi umufi edutshula uLongwe ubesekade ehambile.
Yebo.
Yes.
I put it to you, said that is contrary to the content of the SMS that he sent to Sedo, to Twala 2.
Lokho ke kuyaphikisana ke noma kuhambelani ke naloku akuthumele la kuTwala 2.
Njengoba sengishilo ukuthi ngiyacabanga ukuthi nami bengishilo ukuthi uLongwe wayephumile. So le SMS njengoba isende uyena uLongwe, even though uyasho ukuthi you are putting it to me, but akayizele yena azoyichazela yena le SMS ukuthi ithini yona ubeqonda ukuthini la kule SMS.
As I've already mentioned or said that when it happened Longwe was already out. So Longwe is the one who sent the SMS. So I think that Longwe should then come and explain what this SMS means.
When Longwe Twala was interviewed on the 29th of October 2014 by Warrant Officer Steenkamp, what is documented by Warrant Officer Steenkamp is the following, and I quote, "The fourth witness was L.S. Twala. He gave a similar description what happened on the scene. He saw the scuffling between suspect A and the deceased. After hearing the shots, he ran out to look for help. He could not describe the second suspect."
Did I hear? You said N.S. Twala.
L.S. Twala.
LS, okay, thanks. Akubhalile phansi ke uwarrant officer Steenkamp ku interview awayenayo ke naye uLongwe Twala nge-24 ka-October 2014 ukuthi ke ufakazi wesine eku LS Twala naye ke wanikeza ke ngencazelo ke efanayo ke mayela naye futhi nokuthi wakubona futhi ukulwisana noma iscaffle lesasikhona ke phakathi komufi naye ke umsola loyo uthe emuva kokuthi kuqhume isibhamu wase ebaleka ke eyofuna usizo.
LS Twala noma M Twala?
Is it M Twala or LS Twala?
LS Twala.
LS.
It is abbreviated.
LS.
LS Babylon.
Is that referring to Longwe? Who's LS? Is it Longwe?
Yes.
Yeah. Let him come.
and explain.
I won't speak on behalf of Longwe.
I will now move to the next aspect of my cross-examination, which is the photo album of the identification parade which was conducted at Jeep Police Station.
Usuyamanje ke parade le eyayise Jeep Police Station.
My lord, should be handed in as Exhibit E2 of the record because Exhibit E1 is the ASAP 329.
Exhibit 2?
E2, my lord. Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
You have the photo album of the identification parade. I'll ask the state to assist us. On the 29th of October 2014 at Jeep Police Station, to confirm that Zandile Kumalo was part of the witnesses who were going to conduct the identification parade.
Ngabe yaqinisekisa yini yokuvuma yini ukuthi ngale date le yange 29 October 2014 uZandile kwakuyingxenye yofakazi ababekhona lapho eJeep beyokhomba nawo?
Yebo.
Yes.
He also confirmed that her mother was also present.
Noma wakhe futhi ekhona?
Yebo.
Yes.
Longwe Twala was also there.
Ulongwe khona?
Yebo.
Yes.
Tumelo Madlala and yourself.
Utumelo nawe futhi?
Yebo.
Yes.
No Kelly.
And Kelly.
For your information, let us go to photo 1 of Exhibit E2 of the record.
Photo 1, okay. Photo 1.
Zandile Kumalo pointed out at the person carrying number 2 on photo 1 of Exhibit E2.
Nangu umuntu owakhonjwa uZandile ke ngaleli langa lo phethe number 2.
Her mother pointed out at a person who is carrying number 11. That person is depicted on photos 4 and 5 of Exhibit E2.
Uma wakhe yena ke wakhomba umuntu ophethe unumber 11 lo muntu ke nangula photo 4 kanye no5 wakhonjwa ke lona umaka Zandile. Okay, cool.
Zandile Kumalo confirmed that the two persons have referred to, the one carrying number 2 and the one carrying number 11, are not before court.
uZandile Kumalo ke ukuvumeleke ukuthi labantu ababili lapha yambona lo phethe number 2 nalo phethe number 11 ukuthi abekho la enkantolo.
Let us now go to Exhibit T2 of the record, which is the photo album of the identification parade which was held at Pietermaritzburg. Do you confirm that you told this court that the person that you pointed out is the one carrying number 4?
Owamkhomba ke wena, okay. Ilo ophethe unumber 4.
Yes, umuntu engamkhomba with similar features number 4. All right.
Yes,
Ben.
the person I pointed out with similar features was indeed number 4. You are correct.
You confirm, sir, that when you look at the photos, that is photo 2, 4 and 5 of Exhibit E2 of the record, and the person that you pointed out at photo 8 of Exhibit T2, the description of the said person with regards to their bodily features is not similar.
Where's that? Where's the description?
I'm now at Exhibit T2.
Okay, just
on photo 8 of Exhibit T2.
Okay.
If ngikuzwa kahle uthi lo mina engamkhombeza nama similar features akafani nalo okhonjwe uZandi nokhonjwe uMakakheng. Ngifuna ukuzwa kahle lapho.
Do I get you correctly or do I understand you correctly?
Exhibits manje.
Because you confuse me with the exhibits. Are you saying the person I pointed out that is now in Maritzburg doesn't compared to the person that was pointed out by Zandi and Zandi's mother?
Yes. Their features are not similar.
Ukuthi ama features abo awafani.
Bona bamkhomba as suspect number 1 as suspect number 2.
Did they point the people or the two people as suspect number 1 or suspect number 2 when they pointed those people out?
As suspect number 1.
Nanjengo number 1.
Ngiyakuzwa sibone kodwa phela ngokufana. Vele nami egcineni angazi ngisho ngithi uyena lo ngathi una similar features.
I hear you, but we don't see things the same, and I never said that it's him. I said he's got similar features.
But the question that I'm at is that the features of the 3 persons are not the same.
But I can show you good. I'm a feature alabantu abathathu awafani.
I should have sworn ngokufana.
Meaning we don't see things the same.
What do you mean?
Usho ukuthini?
Number 2 angithi. So number 2 and 11 angithi.
You said number 2 and 11. That is the GP parade. Number 2 and 11.
Yes, at photo 1 and photos 4 and 5.
Yeah, njengoba ngisho nami ukuthi ukubona kwethu shoot.
I don't know whether it's a fair question to put to the witness to comment on what other people had pointed out. Those are not his pointing out. How is he expected to comment on why they pointed out that person? We submit, my lord, that question ought to be disallowed.
Mr. Ngumalo, what's your response?
My lord, I'm just asking a simple question for the witness to look at these photos and comment, if he has a comment, whether when he looks at the first person, the 2 persons which were pointed out at Jeep police station, are they similar to the one that he pointed out in Peter Maritzburg? If he has a comment, he can say so if he does not have a comment.
Yes, so let's hear.
As I've said, as I'm about to say, futhi angiboni ngokufana, siboni ngokufana. So njengoba sengisho ukuthi angeke ngize mina ngizokhomenta ngesithombe esikhonjwe yimina as ama similar features. Lesala babanye angeke ngizokhulume ngaso ngoba mina okay futhi nje yeah ngibambe lapho opinion.
We see differently.
Number 2 of 1.
We see differently. I can only comment on the picture of the person that I pointed out to be having similar features. With regards to the 2 photos, let me just hold it there.
I'm going to reiterate what I put to the first witness, Zandi Lekumalo, that you and other witnesses have got this tendency of pointing out innocent people willy-nilly. What is your comment?
Ngizosho ke into ebengishilo ke kufakazi wokuqala uZandileke ukuthi nina nje nina le into nje yokuthi nikhombe nje noma kanjani abantu nje ekungasibona.
Ngokukhulu ke nami ukuhlonipha kumina kuyona tendency leyo because lo engamkhomba engikwazi ukuthi mina ngal rectify iphutha la iphutha at that time lokuthi angisho ukuthi uyena ngithe unama similar features bona mekuthi bakhomba abantu bathi uyena suspect number 1 suspect number 2 angeni mina lapho so akusi tendency kumina ke le.
With all due respect to you as well, it is not a tendency to me. I rectified it there and there that the person that I was pointing out, I only said that had similar features. If it is that they pointed the 2 people out and said that it was them, then that is none of my business. To me, it is not my tendency.
I will further put it to you that The deceased was shot at by one of the persons who were inside the house. He did not shoot at himself. What is your comment?
Iphinde ngithi kuwena ke umufi wadutshula omunye kulaba ababephakathi endlini akazange ayidubule yena kodwa wadutshulwa yilabo ayekade nabo phakathi endlini.
Sekade besephakathi. Hayi kade nabo.
Awuphakathi endlini.
Bawusho njalo shothi usho referring to lo 6 omunye mawungambali yena. Wabuthi phakathi endlini vele wadutshulele endlini.
Indeed, he was shot inside the house.
By one of the persons who were inside the house and not by one of the intruders.
Lo bengikusho kuwena.
Yeah, usubeka kahle na umbuzo.
Ngoba ngiyakwazi benga.
So angazi ukuthi ngizothini ke lapho ngoba ngiyakutshela ukuthi umuntu usenze wadutshula umuntu wangena endlini. Shothi sisazophinde sihlala omunye 9 years la.
I don't know what to say then because I'm saying to you that Senzo was shot by one of the intruders, which means we are going to sit for another 9 years saying the same thing.
Yeah, but you know what's that question? If you think about it, it's ambiguous. Just repeats the assertion. I'm putting it to you that Senzo was shot by one of the persons who were inside the house.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, he did not shot at
including the 2 suspects who get crushed into the house. Are you with me?
No, I had said, my lord, I had explained that not the 2 or one of the 2 intruders.
No, put it clear then.
Yes, thank you. I put it to you that the deceased was shot at by one of the persons who were inside the house. Obviously not the children, and he did not shoot at himself. There was no robbery there, and he was not shot at by one of the intruders who had the firearm.
Okay. Lombuzo uthi akusiyona umbuzo. Akazange adutshulwe yilabo ababili abangena. Akukho kubanjwa kwenkunzi kwakukhona lapha yana akadutshulwanga ingane siyayikhipha ke ingane lezi eziwu2 naye siyamkhipha. Wadutshulwa ke omunye walaba ababe phakathi endlini. Ukhiphe labo bawu2 kuthiwa bangena babengekho uthi ababengekho abangena. Akunankunzi yabanjwa ubakhiphe nabantwana naye umkhiphi. Yilabo abanye ke okusho ukuthi labo abanye ke babesendlini.
Hence ngisho ukuthi akulona iqiniso lelo.
Hence I'm saying that is not
abantu
the truth.
abawu2 bangena lapha endlini.
There were 2 intruders.
Lento engisho ukuthi sisazohlala la enkantolo. And I don't understand ukuthi mina ngaze ngivikele umuntu ayilapha endlini ngamvikelelani over umuntu omngani wami usenzo. Akunandaba na wonke umuntu ayilapha endlini.
Yes, I'm saying that
ngidideka khona mhlawumbe engihlezi ngidideka khona ngempela.
And so I'm then saying that we're going to still be here for a very long time. I have absolutely no reason to defend anyone or to protect anyone that was in the house because I have no business with them over my friend. That is where I'm getting confused. At the end, there were 2 intruders that came into the house.
What is the description that you gave the first intruder who had the firearm?
Utheni uma uchaza oqala owayephethe isibhamu?
Ngithe wayemfishane kunalomunye sibili.
He was shorter than the second one. The chicks
namehlo ngathi awekho makhulu wayenama dreads wayefaka isigqoko ephethe isibhamu.
Eyes that don't look so big, had dreadlocks, was wearing a hat and carrying a firearm.
I've also gone through your statement, Exhibit U1. In your statement, there is nowhere in your statement where you describe the first intruder as you have described him in this court.
Lana ke kulesi statement that angithi ziwu2 kunalesi ke siwu1 esange 20 la bhalwe 28 but wena uthi 27 akukho la umchaza khona ke lokuqala ngalendlela umchaza ngayo la enkantolo.
The only description that you gave to the first intruder is at the tail end of your statement, Exhibit U1, where you say the following at paragraph 15, and I quote, "I can be able to identify the suspect with dreadlocks who had a firearm. I cannot identify the second one." Close quotation.
Lana ke uyachaza ke ukuthi ngakwazi ukuthi ngimkhombeke noma ngimusho ke umsola onama dreadlocks owayephethe isibhamu angeke ngimchazeke noma ngimkhombeke owesibili.
Yebo, ngiyakubona lokho vele ukushilo lokho kubhalile. Njengoba ngisho sometimes ukuthi ukunarrate istory njengoba ngikwenza la ilo akufani nokuthi usukwenza lapha ngizothi police station ngoba police station usukulandela lo suke kubuza okubuzayo ukuthi and then nase uhamba kanje uyabhala nje uyabhala yena. So akufani nala ngoba la uyangibuza wena imibuzo fanele ngichaze uyangibuza umsidibalwe fanele ngichaze ngingene into detail ngalokho. So that's why ngimchaza kakhulu la. So mawukuthi iphoyisa as much as ngilichazelile ngomuntu onama dreads look alizange lisangibuza ukuthi ubuso bunjani amehlo kanjani kufanele ukuthi ngenze njani ke.
It is two different things to narrate to narrate here in court where I'm being asked questions by you in detail as well as Advocate Baloyi compared to the police station where the police would just say and then but not like as you ask me if you only ask me about the dreadlocks and not about the face.
So did you give this description to the police or you did not?
Ngabe wanikeza ke noma wamchaza ke ngalendlela emaphoyiseni noma awuzange?
Ngamchaza.
I did.
So the police officer who took down your statement left it out. Is that what you are saying?
Waseshiyelela ke yena ke lo owayibhala ke.
That's why ngisho ukuthi angazi ukuthi wayengibuze kanjani yena. Kodwa ukuchaza ngachaza.
Hence I'm saying that I don't know how it is that he asked me, but I did mention it.
May the court bear with me. My lord, I'm told that this is 3:30 in the afternoon. I still have some questions.
Okay, yeah, fine. Mr. Baloyi. Okay. Are you available, sir? Tomorrow. Still at the Sheraton.
It's nothing.
Sent it.
Oh, yeah, you sent it. Better still. Okay, tomorrow then at 10 o'clock.
10 kusasa.